Good morning. This is High IQ Investing. I'm Nicolo.
And I'm Connor, and we're fresh out of Mexico.
Ay carumbe.
I didn't pick up any Spanish, but
I actually lost some Spanish.
como te llama?
Como te llama. Actually, here's a little something for all of you. It turns out there are some words you can know the whole dictionary, but there are some words that get you anywhere in Mexico. For example, donde. Donde is probably the most overpowered word. They have to nerf donde because you can get anywhere in the country using donde.
What about zapatos?
You can get anywhere in the country using zapatos, but not like you can with donde. Donde is like the space shuttle of Mexico. Mm-hmm. You're in one place. You want to get to point B. You look one of those chicos straight in the eye and you hit them with donde, and then point B, and
comes
right
to
away,
you. Point B comes to you, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's like teleportation. And the other thing, this is another strange cultural thing. No matter how far you are, and you ask donde and then the place, it's always 10 minutes away. Always 10 minutes away.
About 10 minutes?
Yeah, which ends up being not so bueno when it's half an hour to sundown and you're out of water and the place is actually 3 kilometers up a mountain and the locals tell you, 10 more minutes. 10 minutos más. 10 minutos
That's
más.
how they keep you going.
That's how they get rid of the
logic.
Yeah.
So what Mexican establishment did you visit?
This one was called Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Okay,
I see.
And we here's actually, let me give you a quick rundown. Beautiful country, big health hazard. I got hit with a triple dose of sickness.
Oh, jeez.
Let me run this by you. We were doing some outreach down there, seeing what the investment situation was like. And
as you should.
Naturally. And came in, got hit with the food poisoning. And that you have to expect that. If not, you're being naive. You got to expect that. But what we didn't see coming was a dehydration. And there's just not a lot of access to clean water. And once we did succumb to our thirst and drink some not clean water. So then we got the food poisoning again. But I guess it's water poisoning. I don't really know how that works. We were sick. And then we got hit with the altitude. Apparently, that does wonders on the body. When your cell boys don't get enough O2s, they go on protest. The union shuts the whole thing down, and suddenly, life is hard.
It sounds like instead of paying for a vacation, you paid for a bit of a fat camp, if you will, or even what's worse than a fat camp?
North Korea.
Concentration camp, if you will.
Yeah. Ecuador is rough. I'm going to say this place is almost as bad as like Italy in terms of civilization and progress. I mean, this is like they were playing Britney Spears on the buses.
I did hear there's no Chipotles in Ecuador, so they have that going.
Yeah,
for them,
so they're actually a little more. Yeah, I was going to get to that. They're a little more advanced than us in some ways. And I was reading that South America, like for example, Uruguay's electrical infrastructure is more advanced than that of the United States. That doesn't take a whole lot. But what Ecuador does is not have Chipotle, which that in and of itself puts it quite higher on every index you can imagine.
The respect index, the culture index.
Because think about it, they hedge
of the culture index.
And they hedge really well because sure, like you're expected to get food poisoning there, but at least you're not going to get norovirus
because of the electricity.
Well, and the Chipotle, but yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, so what if there's no cellular network? At least you're not getting E. coli. No one in a hospital for E. coli treatment ever said, at least I have cellular. But people with cellular have said, at least I don't have E. coli. So, Connor, what part of Mexico did you visit?
I visited what I thought was the great country of Jamaica.
Well, what you thought was great.
Yeah.
What
Turns out
happened?
it's a similar third world shithole like Ecuador. I would go so far as to say a fifth world shithole.
Oh.
That was uttered by one of our travelers, and I do not even exaggerate when I say
Do you travel with the president?
something like that.
Oh.
I do not exaggerate when he said halfway through the trip he was going home early. And he said, "I'd rather get stuck in the Atlanta airport he was transferring planes there. I'd rather get stuck there for 10 weeks rather than spend 10 more hours in this fifth world shithole of a country."
Right. Isn't he from New Delhi?
Something like that. But
Wow.
he'd rather be in Atlanta. So that tells you.
Isn't
But
Atlanta like sixth world or even seventh world?
it's getting up there into the double digits, quite frankly.
Jeez, yeah.
But, I mean, the trip was all right. We didn't find much opportunities for investment. I think my favorite part of the trip was watching Stranger Things on the plane there and the plane back. Finished the whole first season,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So that's a good part about Jamaica. The best thing, and this is actually the only opportunity for investment, I think, is a little food called Festival. Ever heard of it?
Festival.
Oh, I mean, it's like, I can't really make an analogy for Festival. It's like you take funnel cake and you take away the cake.
And then you have...
take a glazed donut and you take away the donut.
And then, so it's sugar?
Essentially.
Oh.
Or, I mean, best analogy is you take a funnel cake and you take away the sugar. How about that?
So it's
basically a festival for your mouth hole. Of
Okay.
sorts. Okay, that's what I want you to imagine.
So is this...
It's like
is
you
this a
took your
dessert?
mouth hole to a festival. That's the thing. That's the thing that they've normalized in Jamaica.
Wait, what is the thing, though? I think that's what I'm missing.
I'm getting to the thing, okay?
Okay.
I mean, it is... In America, it would be a dessert.
Is this
But in
just
Jamaica-
air? Because there's not a lot of that in the mountains in
I
Ecuador, so I
wasn't-
guess it's a dessert.
I wasn't shooting straight with you earlier. It is basically funnel cake without sugar.
Oh.
Not funnel cake
So
without
it's-
cake.
it's
or
fried
donut
dough.
without- Essentially.
Why didn't you just say so? You don't just get to call something that has existed for hundreds of years carnival.
Well, I did. So,
Oh.
anyway, the thing is, it's not dessert there.
What?
They've normalized it. It's like French fries, but not French. It's Jamaican.
How is the obesity problem
just-
there not worse than ours?
I think they actually like move around. They don't have cars and stuff. So,
Oh,
but like, you eat this with dinner and no one looks at you funny.
what?
In America, you eat a funnel cake without the cake without dinner. People look at you funny.
Well, yeah, without the cake.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're saying it's dessert, because I think you're allowed in America to have dessert
Before
before dinner, as long as you claim it's dessert. But if you have something, it's really bizarre. In the U.S., you can have if you have like pasta for breakfast, people will be like, that is so weird. But if you have like some sugary Danish and then like put butter on it, it's like, oh, that's a breakfast food. That's good.
That's
Put that in
true.
your diet.
I just think America does not have any equivalent to festival that you can eat with your dinner.
Probably not. I'm thinking no,
So
it
I'm
doesn't.
thinking about opening a festival company.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to invest, but
Yeah. Well, let me come out of. Okay, so I'm going to say Ecuador. There's a lot of. Let me tell you something. They might be behind. I'm not going to try to figure out why, but they're smart. Let me tell you why. I was in a hostel up in the mountains, and at this hostel are a lot of people from America, North America, U.S. of America, and I was eavesdropping on one of these conversations. Well, it's not really eavesdropping. She was talking really loudly, and we were at the same table. Actually, she was talking to me. I just didn't want to listen, so I guess it's eavesdropping because I heard something Monsanto, something GMO, and I'm on vacation. I'm not going to start a fight at this altitude. I'm gonna get the altitude sickness if I have to wheeze that much.
at this altitude,
So, well, let me tell you what happened. She's going on and she's saying, okay, Monsanto, bad company. I'm not going to argue that maybe the ethics are a little shaky, but don't put it on GMO. That would be like if Sandusky started selling donuts and everyone was like, oh man, donuts are bad. They're going to kill America. And it's like, okay, look, bad company selling a good thing, fine, whatever. Anyway, then she starts talking about GMO, and she starts saying how like GMO causes like cancer and kills children, and how we need to stop having GMO. And I was just thinking, like, how is everyone just going to let this by? And out of the corner of my eye, I see the hostel worker, great Ecuadorian by the name of some Ecuadorian name.
A real stand-up guy.
And he just shakes his head in disgust. And I knew right then and there that one day Ecuador is going to overtake the United States. That's just how you know.
Shot early. Yeah.
And let me tell you, every other person at the table, all her friends were just nodding their heads like, oh my God, I can't believe. Yeah. We're going to hell in a handbasket, and Monsanto is carrying the handbasket.
But weren't these the lady was Ecuadorian?
No. These were white people at the hostel.
Oh, okay.
They were guests. No. Connor, you're missing the point. The Ecuadorians are above this fear-mongering.
Now I see the point.
This is, you can't have something like the war on GMO in Ecuador because the people there are too smart. This isn't America.
It's called high IQ, high intuition.
Honestly, I'd like to move this show there, but they don't need it because they're already rocking the high IQ. Okay. That's enough about Mexico. I think we can get into Market Watch now.
Market Watch.
Market Watch. Eye in the sky. All right, this is Market Watch. Some crazy things have happened on the market while we've been gone. We did not have access to the Robinhood, but now we do. And let me tell you what, things were looking rosy on the NASDAQ. Every good stock went up. Every bad stock went down. The markets are where they should be. The only thing that came as a little bit of a surprise that we lost money on is Stephen Hawking went out of business before Blue Apron did. We did not predict that.
And Blue Apron is going to hell in a handbasket, if you will.
Yeah, and actually Blue Apron already comes in the handbasket, so they provided that for themselves.
Stephen Hawking went to heaven in a handbasket.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking
in a wheelchair.
He didn't believe in it, but we brought him there. Good guy. And you know what? It's pretty insane. It just goes to show how poorly people must be living their lives if that man sat in a chair and beat the average male life expectancy while most Americans die before that. So
Too
really
much funnel cake, honestly.
Yeah, that and I mean, it just goes to show high IQ is long life. Right off the bat.
Just outsmart death.
Yeah. And there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that say Stephen Hawking died like 20, 30 years ago. And Intel and IBM have been just put his body in a chair and made a computer and were funneling their physics theories through him. But
computer doesn't have high IQ like he does.
That's the thing. Yeah. Computers are just a bunch of mumbo-gumbo technology and electricity. And you're going to tell me that electricity is smarter than Stephen Hawking? No, Stephen Hawking invented electricity. Well, Benjamin Franklin invented electricity, but Stephen Hawking proved that it was real with science and statistics.
Food poisoning? Believe in electricity.
Yeah,
honestly.
How about that? Okay, so that's.
I have to level with you about my own market watch.
Show me the level.
I gave up on HMNY.
Oh, why? They're going down so fast that they're going to hit the bottom like a trampoline.
The thing is, I had enough of my minimizing capital gain strategy. I open up Robinhood, and the thing is light as a feather.
Oh, geez. That means the government has to pay you. You're paying so few taxes.
Yeah. You're opening up Robinhood. You're in the quadruple digits. That thing is like a 50-pound weight at least.
Yeah.
My thing is floating.
Jeez.
I have helium in my Robinhood.
Oh, boy. So
at this point, I didn't really have to respect HMNY anymore. The thing is just going to zero, quite frankly. And you guys don't need to buy it anymore just because I say to, because I don't own it anymore. Actually, I kept 3 shares, but...
Yeah, well, actually...
For the culture.
Today, it's only down 3%.
Yeah, look at the 1 week.
The 1 week, it's down 15%. The 1 month, it's down half.
And I went all in a month ago, so... About 2 months.
That was actually not a good time to go all in.
Yeah.
Well... The good news is if you were invested in HMNY and all in on that, you weren't invested in crypto, which probably saved you a lot of money this week. We'll get to that in Crypto Corner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't hear about this.
What else has been happening on the markets? It's really weird when you're out of the loop for a week and you come back and you just realize that you don't know what's happening on the markets.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, we could have Robinhood options by now.
Well,
I didn't see an email though.
Yeah, I didn't get an email. Well, okay. Well, the markets we were watching were the South American markets. Cattle are up. It's also the harvest season for corn. And I believe I saw 8 to 10 cornfields a day. So I think the corn market is booming.
Saw it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
Must be.
Right now, bags of grilled corn that are sold on the street for about $1. So the corn index is fairly stable.
As it should be.
Cornettos are $1 each on the street as well. So the ice cream index in South America is pretty stable.
As it should be.
And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the transportation index. You can get a cab from Central Quito to the airport for about $25. You can hitchhike from Quilotoa to Zamambucha for $1.50. It looks like
finger.
Well, yeah, but
that's not currency.
But that's not currency. I mean, actually, here, let me tell you something. Ecuador doesn't use real money; they use U.S. dollars.
So it's basically like
everything's free. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So the markets are looking rosy down there. Really pure capitalism down there. I mean, people will just it's kind of like when you're a kid and you want to make like a few cents from your parents, so you like draw them a picture and then tell them they have to buy it. We were actually hiking up a mountain, and halfway up, this little girl was standing there, and she just asked us for chocolate, and we're like, oh, okay, sure. So we gave her chocolate, and then she asked us if we wanted a picture, and I'm like, okay, well, we actually just want to get to the top of the mountain, but I can't say that in Spanish, but I do know how to say yes in Spanish. So we said, sí, and we took a picture with her, and we thought that would make her happy. But then she said, plata. And we're like, what? Moneta. Wait, Nina, are you serious? And a 6-year-old girl was asking us for money after we gave her chocolate and took a picture with her. And so we fished into our pockets, and Trevin found a nickel. And she was like, $1. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Take a step back. Not off the edge of the mountain, but just like half a step back. And let me get this straight. One, where are your parents? Two, how did you get here? We're halfway up. What are you? She was wearing these like little, like they were like Toms almost. And we were wearing these thick hiking boots and we're, what are you and three, who told you can just, what?
I mean, it's a good point though. Like, I feel like the easiest way to hustle someone is be 6 years old and a girl.
Yeah, the trick is to be Benjamin Button and have a sex change.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm sure that works on most people, so you can't blame her.
Well, yeah. Well, what we told her was, hey, look, okay, we don't have any more money or candy, but there's this group of 4 or 5 Canadians that started hiking about half an hour after us. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of candy. Just ask them. We said it in English, so I don't think she got any of it. But then when we said comprende, she nodded. So either one, she's a liar, which is not hard to believe because she's also a hustler. Or 2, she's such a good hustler that she spoke English but pretended not to when it was convenient for her. So let me just say, markets in Ecuador, you can put your money there. You're guaranteed returns. These people know how to rake it in.
I mean, Jamaica, same way. They have, in the tourist areas, about upwards of 1,000 Jamaican weed mons. They all come up to you and they're like, hey, man, I'm the Jamaican weed mon. I got the best weed here. And the secret is they just have dead plants. And they'll give you a dead plant and 1 rolled joint. It's the hustle.
These guys,
I mean, the tourists will smoke the first joint, and it's the good stuff, and then they have a dead plant left over. So if you want more, you just have to go buy another dead plant and a joint. Yeah.
The thing is, these people will do anything to raise money for the bobsled team, and it costs a lot of money to keep up a bobsled team.
Yeah, it's a respectable cause for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, for certain.
The bobsled team needs money more than the
tourists. Well, yeah, the tourists they see it a little like Jurassic Park. They kind of just go there and are like, oh, look at this different third worldly culture. And then the Jamaicans are just like, yo, back off. We got KFC and like Burger King. What do you have? And they got a good point because we kind of have the same things. Really, the only Jamaica is basically Fort Lauderdale, but without the old people.
and without driving loss.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't know how many potholes there are in Fort Lauderdale, but quite frankly, Jamaica's filled with them, worse than Philadelphia, which is saying something. And our friend Jamal drove us around the whole time, and this man drove like he had a death wish, quite frankly. He was weaving in and out of cars, beeping. I mean, that's the one cool thing about their driving is they use beeping as a means of communication, not as a means of saying you're an asshole. Like if they're about to take a corner at like 50 miles per hour, they beep so that no one else takes the corner at the same time. I mean, it's quite impressive, but I feel safer in the U.S. where there's laws and people only beep when they're mad.
Yeah.
Because when the air is filled with beeps, it's like, how do you know which beep is for you?
Here's the other thing too. If you we're gonna do something we like to do a lot, and that is break down a problem with game theory. And it turns out that you have a negative expected value to drive on the wrong side of the road if you're the only one doing it. So the equilibrium is to drive on the right side of the road. But apparently, everyone in Jamaica has arrived at the equilibrium where they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, the left side.
And it works. Isn't that amazing? Like,
how did that begin? Because
one person had to start it.
One person started, and then
another guy swerved out of the way, and soon everyone was swerving out of the way and just staying on the wrong side.
Yeah, it just takes one man with conviction.
Yeah.
That's how the crypto market started. But
that's I have heard that. Actually, with that, let's jump into Crypto Corner because we have a lot to talk about here. So, I went to Mexico. I came back, and where was crypto? In the toilet. I mean, the good news is, okay, that means we have indoor plumbing. But the bad news is someone didn't flush crypto.
Oh, geez, it's just festering.
And crypto's a nasty one. It smells. That's about it.
Right off the bat, what is lumens at?
Oh, lumens is at, okay, so I'm going to let you guys in on a little.
This is worse than HMNY.
Insider secret. So lumens was at a ripe 70 cents. Oh, we have a spam caller. Let's put him live on the air. Hello, you're on High IQ. Hello?
Como te llamas?
Hello? Oh.
That's the ultimate spam.
They hung up. Well, we were talking about crypto. I was getting a call from a telemarketer, and I thought maybe they'd want to telemarket to the high IQ investors, because if it's worth my time, it's definitely worth everyone else's time. Anyway, crypto, you ever go on a nice walk on the beach, and then you fall on a pike and die?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so lumens, I bought it at 60-something cents, and now it's at 20-something cents. But that's all U.S. dollars, so it doesn't really matter.
So you're saying it's time to buy?
Yeah, it's actually always been time to buy, but now it's also time to buy.
That actually reminds me of why I sold a HMNY.
Yeah,
because I logged onto the old stock twits as you do, as one does. And
one will do that.
And I finally snapped out of my stupor when I saw, I screenshotted the exact post, but it was something like a guy who had lost so much money on this stock. He bought it at like $15 and now it's at $4. That he's like, honestly, I hope this goes down to $2 so I can average down further.
That's actually a good thought.
It's a good thought, but I mean, it was just too stupid for me to even ignore.
Yeah. There comes a point where
you have to lose your pride.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep averaging down. But, I mean, in Stellar Lumen's case, you should definitely buy more.
Oh, you got to buy. You got to hit the double down button. It's like deal or no deal, and the dealer gives you a worse offer, and you say deal.
Every time.
Every time. It is like you woke up and went downstairs for breakfast, and you forgot you live in a one-room studio, and you're in someone else's house now. It is like you were walking along the street, and an Uber pulled over, and you got in, and you realized you didn't order an Uber, and you were in a different city, and you get out in Compton, and the air is fresh, and the birds are singing.
I've heard that, though. There's an Uber Express from every city to Compton. Are you familiar with Uber
Oh,
Express?
it's a new service. It's straight into Compton.
Yep.
Yeah.
One-way ticket to Compton.
One-way
I don't know how
ticket.
they keep going one way, but elevators or something like that.
At one point, they say all the Uber drivers will be in Compton, which is part of Uber's master plan to get rid of the drivers and have all the cars be autonomous. It's really clever because cars that go into Compton have a lower probability of leaving Compton.
Yeah, I don't think their plan's going to fail, honestly.
Uber's plans can't fail. Uber is what we call too big to fail. It is like that guy in my software class who was 400 pounds. You just couldn't fail him. You couldn't.
Or else he'd come down with the wrath of fat people.
Gravity,
Yeah.
is what they called it. Well, actually, I don't know if they still have gravity now that Stephen Hawking is gone.
At least it's not confirmed.
Yeah,
by
we
any
can
means.
we can check really quickly. Do we have anything that's? Let me see if the.
That's
Oh yeah, they still got gravity. They still got gravity. Which did it always go this direction?
I don't know. Can
Okay.
you drop one more? I think it's because of the air resistance.
Yeah,
but
things
it
are
can't
going
be.
down at a little bit of an angle, but that was a piece of paper.
Maybe everything's attracted to Stephen Hawking, and he's over
Oh, yeah, that's actually consideration. Well, did they bury him yet? Where Stephen
I don't know.
Hawking, one of the greatest Americans who ever lived. Honestly, worthy of the Medal of Honor.
there. And if he was an Ecuadorian, he'd be top 5.
He'd be easily
He's
top
top
five.
five.
The standard is a little higher there because they had
High IQ.
Simon Bolivar
Oh yeah.
and Buenos Noches and Senor Pancho. But here, standards are pretty. How many great America is such a young country. What, 50, 60 years old, 7 years old? What is your earliest memory of America even?
When was McDonald's was made in like 1940?
1936, 1940.
So
Well, McDonald's was
90 years old.
McDonald's as we know it now is
It's 80 years
1950s, 1960, when Killer Croc bought it and then made it.
65 years old. I saw some news about McDonald's actually.
What's the news?
The maker of Taco Bell,
Okay.
another cultural establishment,
Absolutely.
originally owned a burger shop, but it went out of business because it was right down the road from the first McDonald's ever made.
Oh, big mistake.
So Taco Bell, this is the guy's name.
Oh.
He opened a Domino's.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, not kidding. He opened a Domino's and he closed it because it was right down the road from the first Papa John's.
Why does he keep...
And you know what Taco Bell did?
Tell me.
He opened a Taco Bell. And you know what it was right down the road from?
Surely you can't be
A
serious.
Chipotle. And you know what that Chipotle did? It went out of business. But the owner of Chipotle, he's a wily dude. He's against the culture. He's against Taco Bell, which is the culture. And he kept the franchise going. But we know the downfall is imminent when people become aware to respect and culture.
That is a real piece of work right there. Pizza work, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Will you? Probably not.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
And speaking of fast food and Market Watch and news, put the three together and you got some breaking out of Illinois. Everyone is talking about right now where the new Amazon headquarters will be, which is really a bit naive because the short list is 20 different cities and you can't hedge real estate across 20 cities. But
I
let
thought
me
they
tell
went
you,
down to 5.
they're down to 5?
I don't know what the 5 are.
Well,
but
you're going to hedge real estate in 5 big cities?
yeah, I don't think so.
No, that portfolio is too diverse. We don't like that kind of exposure. You really only want to have 1 or 2 things in your portfolio.
2 max. 2's pushing it.
Two max.
Honestly.
Yeah, you don't want to have... If you put all your eggs in different baskets, you have to buy a load of baskets.
I can explain it with fractions because I took a statistics class once.
Well, maybe...
Something to do with denominators.
Yeah.
You want 1, probably. Maybe 2.
He did the math.
Beautiful,
Okay.
beautiful human-powered soundboard.
Yeah, this. In case y'all haven't noticed, we still haven't gotten the actual soundboard together. So the soundboard will remain human-powered because the robots haven't taken over the universe yet.
But the YouTube videos are coming.
They will.
Telling
Yeah,
you.
the podcasts are coming.
Working around the clock.
Don't you worry. If you were listening to this on YouTube, it's probably the year 2080, and which means this is a message from the future. Do not invest in Bitcoin. It's going down right now.
Any
They're saying it's going down to
crypto for that
8,000. Okay. Anyway, so they're saying, okay, Amazon's down to 5 places. You have to hedge across 5 cities. McDonald's is guaranteed moving to Chicago this or next year. So, ladies and gentlemen, buy your Chicago real estate. It is about to boom.
And then you can open up a McDonald's.
And then you can use that real
real
estate to
news?
open a McDonald's. That's true. Yeah, McDonald's is moving to Chicago, Illinois. The West Loop.
The West Loop.
Yeah.
What's their current?
They're somewhere else in
Residence?
Illinois, but
Okay.
it's kind of the middle of nowhere. Actually, McDonald's is the thing that's there.
Did you ever watch the movie about McDonald's, The Founder?
The founder? No.
Well, I'll just give you the
Yeah.
too long didn't watch. It
Sure.
turns out to be a businessman, you have to be a bad person.
Oh, is that how that?
McDonald's was just a nice cultural establishment in California. 2 great owners. A businessman came in and said, "You're going everywhere," and just opened one everywhere.
You're allowed to do that?
Apparently.
We should go to. We should open. I was gonna say we should just go to the Penn administration and open one everywhere, but I think they already do that.
Yeah, and then call them different names.
There's like a Penn Executive Education Center in China, and that's just a way they can rubber stamp Penn onto people's diplomas and make a lot of money off the Chinese.
Speaking of Penn, big Penn basketball announcement.
Oh yeah,
Bit of a upset watch. I hope everyone watches on Thursday. Are we like the first game in the tournament or something?
I actually believe we are.
Oh, I just
Thursday,
took a
2
guess.
p.m.
Yeah, that's pretty early. So we have an upset watch of sorts against Kansas.
Yeah.
There's a few articles I read that actually put Penn 2%, 3% chance of winning.
I actually saw on ESPN we're at 9-point-something% chance of winning.
9%.
The good news here is that we are. Let me explain how this works. Penn is in the East Coast. We are 2 time zones ahead of Kansas. So anything that Kansas does, we knew about it 2 hours ago. We cannot lose.
We have the intel.
There's a statistic
Can't
that
lose
says
without the intel.
no 16 seed has ever beat a 1 seed. That is true. But there's also a statistic that says we are 2 hours ahead of Kansas.
And there's also statistics that says history doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. We also have no proof that history ever happened. So
Yeah, now that Stephen Hawking died.
yeah. So what is truth? What is real? It doesn't really matter because it doesn't affect our investments. So oh God, I got funny boned on the jeez.
What matters is that we're 2 hours ahead of Kansas.
And I'm gonna have a
and
titanium
Nicolos-
plate in my elbow for the rest of my life. Oh, but the price of a titanium is just going up. So hit your funny bones all you want to. Oh man, I haven't had a good cry since I was stuck in the Keto airport for 11 hours with severe diarrhea yesterday.
Sounds like a great story.
Oh, yeah, that's actually the whole thing, though.
Yeah.
Fun fact, some people that aren't us saw investment opportunity in Ecuador. There's not 1, but 2 Johnny Rockets in the Quito airport.
Really?
And for the sweet price of $16, you can buy a burger.
It won't give you food poisoning, in theory.
No, that's not true. Not even in theory. I think the $16 includes food poisoning.
Oh, jeez.
Because let me tell you what, I'm still surprised we've gone 34 minutes into the show and I haven't used a bathroom.
It's like you're in Value Town and then you left and then went to Anti-Value Town.
Yeah, a.k.a. Quito Airport. Because the funny thing is in Quito, just 30 minutes down the road, you can get a huge plate of rice with beef that's only been left out 1 or 2 days, corn, salad, some bean-looking things, some egg-looking things, and some sausage-looking things. That'll cost you about $2.
I remember you and Trevin, before you went, saying everything's going to be so cheap.
It was,
Yeah.
except for
You didn't factor in the Coriolis effect?
yeah, that's exactly it. I forgot that most of Ecuador is below the equator. And it turns out that the Coriolis effect has a strong... I'm a walking skeleton right now, basically. There is... Here's the thing. You can buy more food in Ecuador with the same amount of money than in the United States, but...
Is it really food?
Yeah, exactly. It's all corn. And corn is very low-calorie food. And combine that with a little contaminated water, and you give those calories back to the environment by nightfall.
When I was a kid, I thought corn was like a vegetable, And
Wait, is corn not a vegetable?
I think it's like frowned upon by the vegetable community or something. So it's not like officially a vegetable. It's like a grain or something. But at my karate class, they're big about being healthy and whatnot. And I was just like, I didn't eat any healthy stuff except for corn. So like, or that's like the only vegetable I liked, or so I thought it was a vegetable. So every week they would be like, all right, kids, what vegetables did you eat? Everyone's like broccoli, green beans. And I'm like, corn. And they're like, did you eat any green vegetables? And I'm like, that's disgusting.
Here's the problem.
Why would I touch that?
All these other kids clearly were raised in whole food hippie families, and you were from the inner city.
That's true.
And
I mean, that's fair.
It's not your fault that you were the only kid getting private karate lessons from the inner city.
Corn grows in the inner city. You don't see any broccoli growing out on the streets.
Yeah. For example, when I was in the rural Ecuador, i.e. the inner city, corn everywhere. You didn't see one broccoli.
You shouldn't. You really shouldn't see one.
Except unless you bring your own. But that's just kind of disrespectful to the culture.
I don't think they let you.
You wouldn't bring your own broccoli
the culture.
to the opera. You wouldn't bring it to the theater. Why would you bring it to Ecuador?
They make you fill out that form.
The customs form, yeah.
So that you don't contaminate the culture. So,
it's strange. The first time I did customs, I didn't quite grasp. They asked me if I had anything to declare, and I'm thinking like, what? I'm not very political, so no, no, thank you. And then I put my suitcase in the thing, and then next thing I was in the back room because you're not supposed to bring back all this vegetables and nuts. Apparently, they want to know, declare. That means, did you bring anything back? Like, what? That's like if your friend went on a trip to the like grocery store, and you asked them to bring you like oatmeal. It's like, hey, do you have anything to declare? And it's like, no, just ask if they brought you oatmeal. Like, just, oh my God, it's the word game. It's like the TSA is too politically correct. Yeah. It's I'm telling you, it's low IQ over here. It's because the Chipotle, it puts the amoeba in your brain and you become stupid.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you one good thing about our friend Jay. I was telling Nico on the way over here, the kid's bitch made. And Jay, if you're listening, you are bitch made. But the guy knows how to travel. He strong-armed the airplane before we left because he was on a different airplane and wanted to get on ours. He talked to them for a few hours. He name-dropped Carlton, which is Jamal's dad, which is strange because he's not even related.
They're different. They're completely different colors.
Yeah. He name-dropped his credit card company. He name-dropped a whole bunch of stuff he got on our plane. And then I stuck with him through customs, and no one gave him trouble because he just kept name-dropping Carlton, which I thought was strange, but you have to respect Carlton.
Has he ever even met the man?
Briefly.
Okay.
Briefly, but no words were exchanged. Just a nice gaze, a nice eye contact. But, man, we zipped through customs. Trevor didn't stick with us. He's also traveling with us. The Bostonites, very sketchy people, and he got randomly searched.
Yeah.
2 times.
Here's the thing about white people. You cannot trust them as far as you can kick them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that so strongly, I submitted myself for a random check because I just didn't trust me. I saw myself in the mirror and I said, this guy is suspicious. He's probably with ISIS.
You're just at the airport screaming out, randomly check me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's respectable.
To our Syrian listeners, we hear that you're often mistaken for white people and randomly searched, and we apologize. That's our fault for being kind of wild group of people. It's the sun. It gets to us and makes us crazy. Bobby Fischer, near the end of his life, you should have seen him. No, actually, he's still alive. Or is he? Bobby Fischer.
I don't even know who that is.
Bobby Fischer. He played chess.
Oh, he sounds
at the
like
community
a white
center.
chess player.
Yeah.
Oh, at the community center?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Oh. He definitely got hit by the sun one too many times.
Yeah. So, another guy, Aaron Hernandez. He's
of course.
Yep. O.J. Simpson, another white guy that went a little too close to the sun.
Tiger Woods.
Another one. Yep. Michael Jackson. All people that probably randomly checked once or twice by the
Usain Bolt?
Usain Bolt's too fast. You can't check him.
No, that's true.
You can't check him. He's too fast. That's like trying to check Elon Musk in that Tesla.
He's going to the moon.
Yeah, I wonder if he's there yet. Wait, okay, let's get something straight. So Elon Musk sent himself to space in the Tesla Roadster, and he's going for Mars. Is he there yet?
It depends. Does he have Robinhood? And more specifically, does he have Robinhood desktop?
Well, you don't get cellular in Ecuador, so I doubt you get it in space.
Because if he doesn't have Robinhood desktop, I don't think there's any way he's to space. I mean, the whole reason that we haven't been approved for Robinhood desktop is the institutional investors don't want us to have it.
Well, we're making too much money.
Yeah, I mean, if we had Robinhood desktop, it would be over for America. It's like giving a child the Death Star, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That the second one.
The command center of the Death Star. That's
Yeah.
what Robinhood desktop
The red
would be.
button.
So if he doesn't have that, I don't think he's going to go fast enough. But we'll see. I don't know. I haven't seen much news on him, so maybe he just got lost in space. It's really
easy to get lost in space. There aren't a lot of waypoints. It's just dark. And when you turn the headlights on, because you're in a vacuum, you actually make a black hole.
That's no bueno.
That's no. Whoa, what is? You picked up a little Spanish in Mexico.
A little pronunciation.
Yeah.
No. Bueno. Bueno.
One more time for me.
Bueno.
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 No
Yeah.
bueno.
No bueno.
Got it. No bueno. Okay, so we could throw that in the soundboard actually.
No bueno.
Give me a bad stock pitch.
A bad stock pitch? Like I'm pitching a company to you?
Yeah, just give me a bad one.
So it's like Netflix for
Cha
Uber.
cha 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 cha. No bueno.
Should I finish my pitch? Netflix for Uber?
Cha 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 cha. No bueno. I already heard
Anyways,
Netflix, so I knew it was gonna be bad.
Because we already have Netflix for Delta Airlines. Now we need it for Ubers.
Actually, Netflix for Delta Airlines. They have Amazon Prime on JetBlue.
Really?
Yeah, just in case
you can order it to your jet.
So that's where they lost me because, so that's just a way to circumvent the TSA. Because now, what if I Amazon Prime a pipe bomb to the jet? I don't know, one, how they get there, but two, then you have a bomb on a plane, and that sounds like, I mean, I'm not a safety officer, but it sounds like you don't want that on a plane.
It sounds like it. I mean, they probably sent like a drone up there or something.
Jeff Bezos is working for ISIS, is what we get from this. The only good guys left, to be completely honest, maybe Taco Bell, maybe
Ronald McDonald.
Microsoft. What's McDonald's? I get them confused. They both sell high quality products. And Steve Jobs is dead, so Apple is good now. The only good guys left in the market. You can't trust Amazon. Elon is in space, so we can't go to Tesla. Can't go to SpaceX.
Can't really.
Classic damsel in distress, if you ask me. Yeah, no one asked me. What are you going to do about? Oh,
and I will ask you.
I will entertain the question. Classic damsel in distress.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I don't know.
Correct me if I'm right here, but I think it's time for America's second favorite segment, and it dropped 2 ranks in Syria over last week, so it's now Syria's 4th favorite segment. Buying a share of OZM.
Oh my God, we are making too much money off of this segment.
Yeah, and more generally, for those of you who are listening for the first time, this is a segment where we just buy a share of a really bad stock, because the idea is if you buy a share of a really bad stock every week for the rest of your life, then big deal, because whatever, you lost $2 a week. Yeah, that's enough money to live for a year in maybe Atlanta or some other third world country, but here in Philadelphia, that's chump change. You can't even buy a hoagie. So yeah, so what if we lose $2 a week? But if it goes to the moon, like what went to the moon? The Soyuz, the bullet train, the Japanese bullet train. Yeah. If it goes to the moon, then you can retire.
You'll have everything you've ever wanted and less.
Yeah, and moreover, much less. So that's why we do this. And right now, let me actually give you a little rundown. We are really bad at buying bad stocks. We are up 14% on OZM.
Oh my!
We really thought it was going to go nowhere but down. So we're going to try a new one.
What is that at right now?
It is at $2.80.
Oh my!
And that is, I can't do math because I'm an investor, not a mathematician, but that's more than $2.50. I use Google Calculator. Okay, so we're going to buy another bad stock, and it's not going to be Blue Apron. Actually, right now, we will accept callers to call in to buy the bad stock, and if no one calls in by 11:50, we'll just choose it ourselves, and in the meantime, we'll go to a different segment. And that segment is America's, oh, God, it's not even ranked anymore. That's a disappointment. And it's Syria's third favorite segment. It is... well, this actually was pioneered 2 weeks ago. Connor and I are going to pitch two stocks each to each other and take one over the other. It is WWE Ultimate Stock Slam Down Raw.
Live from WQHYY.
Who will be the Ultimate Fighting Champion of the world?
Not Blue Apron.
Okay, so... Connor, do you got a couple for me?
I'll just go on a similar tangent to the. Can we make an imaginary one of combining two stocks or no?
Yeah, you can make a hybrid stock. That happens.
So it's like Netflix for Uber, but instead, it's Facebook for Twitter.
Okay, Facebook for Twitter versus who's on the other corner?
Facebook for Twitter versus. Apple for Microsoft.
Okay, Facebook for Twitter versus Apple for Microsoft. Well, let's do some digesting. Let's get some amylase in there so we break down some sugars preliminarily. Let's get it in the stomach and break down the fatty acids and the proteins, and let's put it in the small intestine. Let's have it go down. And now it's in the large intestine, and now it's feces. Okay. So we've processed that completely, and with that analysis, I gotta take Apple for Microsoft, and let me tell you why.
Why?
Let me tell you why. Because when you have Facebook for Twitter, what you get is
old people on Twitter.
This, yeah.
You have this. On Facebook.
It's a real Goliath versus David, because now you have these people who are trying to rant about the customer experience at Walmart, but have been capped at 240 characters. So now your content has dried up like a well in the middle of the desert.
As it should.
Why did you put a well there? Idiot. I don't even... Why did you put a well there? But, on the other hand, Apple for Microsoft. So imagine Microsoft already... I mean, what did they not invent? They invent everything we know about electronics is thanks to... They invented the computer. They invented the internet. They invented two-way radio. They pioneered three-way radio. The only thing they didn't do is put radio on the internet. That was Mark Cuban. And now put Apple on top of that. So now you have good technology that looks pretty.
Exactly.
And
you hit the nail on the head.
I think you got to take that.
I don't think there's any.
I think people will pay money for good technology that looks pretty. If they pay money for bad technology that looks pretty, imagine what they'll do for a good product.
Yeah, they pay money for the bad technology because of the ecosystem, though.
I mean,
important.
Yeah, the ecosystem is really important.
The Apple ecosystem.
We don't even need to explain why. We're gonna. That's just a truth, a universal truth. It is like the laws of physics while Stephen Hawking's were alive. We just took them for granted, and we're gonna take that for granted. And Connor, I'm gonna hit you with something a little harder. This actually is more of an ethical dilemma than a stock decision. I'm going to hit you with GoPro on wheels.
GoPro on wheels.
GoPro on wheels versus Fitbit on drones.
Fitbit on drones.
Yeah.
Well, with a precursory glance, Fitbit on drones sounds completely retarded. But GoPro on wheels sounds dangerous. Okay?
Yeah.
Tell you a little bit of a story. I broke my arm using GoPro without wheels.
Oh, okay.
As one does. I had the GoPro set up and I jumped on a rail, slipped, broke my arm. No wheels were involved in the situation. And as we explained last week, the more the wheels, the more exponentially your speed
Grows.
grows.
Where the wild things are. Yep.
So I'm just thinking about a wild GoPro set loose from hell on wheels.
Oh,
ravaging
geez.
society and taking video of it at the same time.
Oh, God. It's like
And
if Blue Apron had power.
It sounds like a suboptimal scenario. I'd go so far as to say a bad scenario.
Okay.
And the other one, Fitbit for drones.
Yeah.
I'm coming around to it. Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to pick the winner as Fitbit for drones, and here's why.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you why. Are you going to let me tell you why?
I'm going to allow it just this once.
Just this one time. So drones. How do you think you make better drones?
You got to tell me.
You take your current drone
Okay.
and you take it to the weight room.
Okay.
You take it to the treadmill.
Sure.
You take it to the pool. Make it swim some laps, if you will. Okay? This thing needs to be lifting. It needs to be eating. I don't know what Fitbit tracks, but
No, I don't know either.
Some kind of health information.
Sure.
So you slap a Fitbit on your drone, and all of a sudden, it wants to do all these things. Previously, I mean, the drones were less than cooperative. Go so far as to say they were uncooperative. They're lazy bastards. They don't
Sure.
want to work
I'll
out.
buy it.
They don't want to get on the treadmill. But with Fitbit, I believe you can motivate them. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. So you're telling me that bombing elementary schools in Pakistan will never be the same?
Precisely.
Okay. Fitbit for drones, it is.
Will be better.
All right. So looks like we have no calls, which means we are going to use our own discretion, which is Spanish for discretion, to decide which bad stock we buy. Now, a few of the contenders, GE, which stands for...
Oh, my.
Oh, God, it doesn't stand for anything. It's doing awful. Okay, GE is doing very poorly. So that's one. Look, you want to buy a bad one that's risky, not a bad one that's guaranteed to go to the ground.
Yeah, GE
So-
just steadily went down 50% in the last year. At
That's-
least HMNY had the dignity to do it all in one day.
Yeah, you don't want a stock that goes down consistently because that's low volatility. You want a stock that's going to go boom, boom, boom. You know, like up, down, up, down. A stock with a little heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that's going to rustle your jimmies one day and then make your day the next. Something like OZM. OZM is a great example of a stock
Back to
that
OZM.
will bounce all around. I mean, if you look at this
a bouncy
graph,
ball.
if you look at the 1 week graph, there is no consistency. There is no momentum one way or the other. This guy bounces like a Super Bowl. And let me tell you, last week it was Super Bowl Sunday because this guy went up and down.
He got a little boost. and a little
So
crash.
we're gonna buy a share of the. Oh, geez. Okay, yeah, we're gonna buy a share of Ozm. Just one share, and we're gonna send in the order.
And the good thing about Ozm is it
let's
has
see.
precedent. It
Oh,
once was
I'm
at-
getting an option to buy on margin. I'm not gonna do that. And boom. Okay, we are now going to be retiring very soon. I guarantee it. Anyone following along at home, a really easy way to make money is to do exactly as we do, except for the ones where we lose money, and then you'll just make money.
But I don't. By the laws of stock market physics, I think this one is a pretty safe bet because 3 or 4 years ago it was at $12, and as we always know, life goes in circles.
It's the
and
circle of life.
Stocks goes in circles too. So this at one point will return to $12, and you will be rich.
As the old saying goes, there are only two certainties in life. One is what goes up and goes down must go back up, and the second is OJ didn't do anything wrong.
Circles.
Yeah. So the first one is pertinent here, and the second one is always pertinent. But let's focus on the first one and then the second one. So we have a few minutes left. So what we're going to do now is a new segment called, well, it doesn't have a name because it's really new, but we received some questions, some pertinent
Oh.
questions.
Yep.
And
if you want to ask questions,
over the-
highIQinvesting@gmail.com.
Yeah, highqinvesting@gmail.com for all your questions, or you can call in. But right now, we're going to ask some questions we got on Gmail. The first question comes from Meredith H., who's 68 years old, from Sowhassan, Indiana. Sowhassan.
Right. We'll allow it.
Yeah, I've never heard of the town, but it's, sure, Meredith. And Meredith asks, I have most of my money in a 401k, but I'm told the Bitcoin is where all the wealth is going to be in the future. Should I be investing in this, or should I leave my money where it is so that I can retire safely?
The age-old question.
Meredith. How to put this?
Begin?
Look, I know you're 10 years away, and your 401k has probably grown to the point where you can retire safely, but do you want to retire safely, or do you want to retire and be rich beyond your wildest dreams? Drain the 401k, drain the swamp, take it all out. That's going nowhere, and put it in the Bitcoin.
Would you rather have a yacht or no yacht?
Exactly. And right now you're looking at no yacht. So Meredith, look, we can't blame you for being naive. We can't blame you for not knowing about the blockchain. But we can blame you for
not investing in it.
Not investing in the Bitcoin. So here's what you do. You call up your broker. You pay all the fees for taking all the money out of the 401k. You pay all the taxes on it immediately. And then you take the money, and you're going to go to, like I said, really easy. Don't even write this down. You go to Coinbase, and then you put all the money into Coinbase. It takes a few days, and then you open a GDAX account, and then you transfer all the money to GDAX, and then you put the money on Binance, buy Binance coins so the transfer fees are low, and then you buy all the Ethereum you can, and then you switch it to some coin that's no one ever heard of, because it's only going to go up from there. And that's all you have to do. And then to sell it, you just buy more Binance coin, you send it back to GDAX, you send it for GDAX to Coinbase, and then you withdraw it.
I hope you didn't write that down.
Don't write it down, because it's so easy. Your grandma can do it.
Just, if anything, just keep repeating what Nicolo just said, and until your brain accepts it as fact.
Yeah, it's like a nursery school rhyme.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was from Meredith, and we have time for one more question, maybe.
Yeah, we could start on it.
This one is from Hyung Yu Kim. Sorry if I'm butchering it. Hyung Yu Kim.
We'll allow it.
From, oh God.
Will we not allow it?
New York. Hyung Yu Kim from New York tells me that my Groupon is going to expire. My Groupon is going to expire. Oh, no. Sorry, fellas. That's a personal email.
We're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Full email.
So, I think that about sums up our new segment, our new unnamed segment, Unranked, Unnamed. And
honestly, I think that's going to be ranked first soon.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see on the leaderboards Unnamed at number 1, both in Syria and the United States. God forbid we start having listeners in other countries. But
they're so fed up with the other segments that they just want Unnamed to be first.
Yeah, it's kind of like electing a populist president. You just want to drain the swamp, and you end up with something a little wacky. Okay, anyway, I think that's all for today.
If you're listening to this in the future, you're probably listening on YouTube, and that means I got them uploaded.
Yeah.
So thank me in the comments.
Yeah.
Because I was working around the clock.
Make sure to dislike for controversy and unsubscribe to show that you're not a follower. You're a leader.
Exactly.
In the investment community. Okay, this is High IQ Investing signing off.